59 laps, 118 of 500 miles complete here at Auto Club Speedway in Southern California. Here are the biggest movers from where we started the day.
And what's neat about that graphic, when you look at David Ruderman, Michael Waltrip, Brian Vickers, those are all cars that had to go to the rear of the field because of an engine change. In fact, Michael never even made a qualifying run. He had issues leaving pit road on Friday for qualifying. Those are all Toyotas. It was a common problem between those. They put a coating on the lifters, and the coating was coming off the lifters, getting on the camshaft, and just wearing the lobes off the camshaft. That's what the problem. But David Ruderman, he's had a race car all week. He's moved to the 6th position in that 00.
Yeah, you know, he ended the year strong. I mean, you think about Homestead. He sat on the pole at Homestead. David is a really good little race car driver. And his teammate back there, Marcus Ambrose, and of course Michael's not too far behind. Michael's 22nd. Michael Waltrip, my brother. All those cars are running pretty decent at this time.
And you saw Matt Kenseth on the biggest movers list because he starts where he usually starts, in the mid-20s, and he usually finishes up front.
Not unusual.
No surprise. More on Michael Waltrip's team, Matt Yoakum.
Mike, we talk a lot about second chances in life. Mickey Rourke at the Oscars possibly tonight could pick up a big prize, but Shannon Myers, a member of Michael Waltrip's team, he parlayed an impressive athletic career, not only in the NFL, playing for Tampa Bay, Oakland, and the New York Jets, but after his playing career ended, he found a second chance in NASCAR as a tire changer. He's parlayed that about a year ago. He got a chance of a lifetime to step back into the movies. A big part as an extra in the movie Leatherhead, starring George Clooney and Renee Zellweger. Chance of a lifetime, about 30 minutes it was shot from the MWR shop. And by the way, if you'd like to see more of his behind-the-scenes photos, just check out foxsports.com for more. And he says he's hoping to continue his acting career.
You know, there is a lot of stories on pit road with these crew members. I mean, they're not just guys that just worked on cars growing up. I mean, there's so many neat stories down there. And Matt and Krista and Dick and Steve do a great job of sharing those stories with us.
You just think about, you know, Jeff Burton was in a soap opera, and Jeff Gordon went and did the Sesame Street, and they do television shows, and they're on Letterman. Why are these guys, they're so comfortable? Because they're so real. It's who they are. They're not fake. These guys are just regular guys like everybody in this grandstand. They just happen to be good race car drivers as well.
Well, like the Dale Jr. interview you did, where he just kind of opened his heart up to you. And
it's honest. Yeah. You can't fake that.
Ken Squire probably said it best. These are common men climbing into these cars and doing uncommon things. These are heroes you can believe in.
Yep. And I believe that.
Now here's Jeff Gordon in the 24 car, still running in the 3rd position. And Darrell mentioned that he just starred in one of the shows of Sesame Street, and he actually played a commentator. And they wanted him to kind of get the race started, but no, he did not do boogity, boogity, boogity. But since it was with the worms, it was wiggly, 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 and he got a kick out of doing that.
I'll bet his daughter will get a bigger kick out of it.
She's a huge Sesame Street fan.
Elmo. Everything's Elmo for Ella Sophia.
Jeff Gordon, he's running that Brian Vickers lane in that 24 all the way below the white line. And again, we stress at Daytona that was out of bounds. It's only out of bounds at Daytona and Talladega. It's perfectly legal here.
At those tracks, they now have a double yellow line, no passing.
I bet his spotter and Vickers' spotter are standing side by side. and he's telling Jeff, you know, Vickers is running and making pretty darn good time.
But you know, Darrell, you mentioned that. You know, we think of the spotters up there to give these guys clear and where wrecks are. That's another role that a spotter plays, especially at a racetrack this big, is to tell the driver where drivers that are running well, where they're running on the racetrack. There you see them right there above the main grandstand.
Kyle Busch yesterday came down pit road and asked his spotter. They were talking about would it take 4 tires to what, and he said he asked his spotter what he thought they should do. That's how much confidence he has in his spotter, not just telling him clear and low, but also strategy, because he can see the whole track.
Jimmy Johnson with a 2-second lead on Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon fighting for second.
The Auto Club 500 on Fox, presented by Quaker State, is sponsored by FedEx Racing. We understand every day is race day. By the Home Depot, proud sponsor of Joey Logano and the number 20 team. And by Napa Auto Parts. Napa, get the good stuff.
Scott Riggs has just gone to the garage, joining Dave Blaney and Joe Nemechek. There's your leader, Jimmy Johnson, and his lead is cut in half. New second place car, Jeff Gordon, running down Jimmy Johnson. Let's show you the pass for second.
Well, Jeff had been working this real low line. You can see he's down on that apron, and again, it's just a great place to run. A lot of grip there, and he's able to get back in the gas and really carry a lot of momentum up off the corner. And this is right here is where Kurt Busch had to say, okay, Uncle, you can get in.
But Jimmy Johnson's lap times have fallen off a half a second over the last 5 laps.
Yeah, all of a sudden he started running really high on the racetrack as if that car has picked up a bad push.
Well, this is by far the longest green flag run that we've had, and we're probably right now we're about 12 to 14 laps away from a pit stop. But yeah, once Jeff Gordon in the 24 passed Kurt Busch in the 2, he just drove away from him. Yeah, the report on Scott Riggs in that 36 car, they're going to try to fix that car and get back out, is they had to make a pit stop back on lap 67 with no fuel pressure. He went back out, and fuel was actually spilling in the car from somewhere under the hood.
You know what that 48's doing? I just figured it out. Saving fuel.
Oh.
He's trying to stretch his fuel. I think they must have some fuel strategy that they're trying to work.
Tony
Because
Stewart,
he slowed way down.
Stewart trying to break into the top 5. Excuse me, Darrell.
Yes, sir.
Check with Matt.
Stewart also trying to score something he's never done here in Sprint Cup competition, and that's a victory at the Auto Club Speedway, Mike. He said the car, very good, likes the field, but it needs to be tighter. That's what they're going to look at the next time they hit pit road. But Stewart pretty pleased so far with how this Old Spice car is running in California.
But I'm going to tell you what, if I was Darian Grubb right now, his crew chief, I would not be unhappy to hear that the car is a little on the loose side, because I think this racetrack is only going to get tighter as the night moves in and the track cools down. It's those cars like Jimmy Johnson in the 48 that are too tight right now. That's where you're going to have to take a big swing at it, making adjustments.
Let's go back deep in the top 20. 18th place is Brian Vickers, who qualified on pole, had to start in the back, as did Michael Waltrip, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. right with them in 20th position.
And they're about a half a lap behind leader Jimmy Johnson right now in that 48 car. We still have 38 cars on the lead lap. And once again, we're about 10 to 12 laps away from what would be green flag stops.
Except for those guys. Don't they have a little advantage?
No, but because of the caution we had, Darrell, on lap 42, everybody's pretty much even on fuel and tires.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Larry was talking about pit stops coming up, and that's what Brian Vickers really doesn't want, because that is where his carburetor problem we told you about earlier is worse. He's got the best pit stall, but when he tries to pick up the gas out of a pit stop, the car is bulky. This is a brand new design race car Brian Vickers has taken from the back of the pack to mid-pack. A new design, a new generation, a lighter car with all new geometry, and so far it's working.
Thanks, Dick. Jimmy Johnson has just put rookie contender Joey Logano a lap down. So both rookies, Logano, Scott Speed, along with David Gilliland and Jeremy Mayfield. Those are the cars one lap off the pace.
Well, Mike, as I watch that 24 car, Jeff Gordon, you know, we've talked about him so much. You talked about him going winless. He has not been to victory lane other than the Gatorade dual race at Daytona, but he's not been in the victory lane since Lowe's Motor Speedway in October 2007, a long time ago for this three-time champion.
Dick?
Well, Jeff Gordon ordinarily doesn't like a loose race car, Mike. That's very well known, and that's exactly what he's got now. He has told the crew that it is loose enough when he picks up the throttle that he can't get the kind of bite he wants. He's not getting off the corner as well as he'd like. So there is still more speed in that 24.
Darrell, he may be loose, but he may be leading here in a second.
But he smacked the wall off of 2 there with that right rear, but I don't think it hurt anything. Whoa, Jeff, be careful, buddy.